Hi everyone, Kim Peremsky here with 4 tips to help you improve your sprint reviews. Tip number 1, ensure that you have the right stakeholders engaged. I like to encourage teams to cast a wide net when it comes to inviting stakeholders because we want that valuable feedback. However, we need to recognize that different stakeholders have different levels of ownership, authority, and decision-making ability. And if those folks are not engaged early and often, sprint over sprint, we could miss out on valuable feedback that could cause risk to our product, the delivery, and our timelines overall. So we want to make sure that those critical stakeholders are available to us on a sprint by sprint basis so that we can get that feedback. Tip number 2 is to ensure that stakeholders understand why they're there in the first place. Just because someone has been deemed a stakeholder doesn't mean they know anything about Scrum or sprint reviews or how they're supposed to be engaging. So you want to educate them on why they're there and what you're looking for from them. You're looking for that valuable feedback. Sometimes I will even highlight the economic impact of their involvement. They're making an investment every sprint for that team. So they should want to know how that investment is being leveraged. So it's a very powerful way to engage them. A third tip is to make sure that the team takes adequate time to plan and prepare. I can't tell you how many sprint reviews I have observed where folks have been called on at the last minute to present something and they had no idea they were going to be called on, or someone needed to log into a system and they forgot their password, or someone tried to access an environment and it ended up being down at that particular time. So we want to make sure that we've done adequate preparation. If there's test data that needs to be set up, environment access, make sure knows who's doing what. Also, make sure you understand your audience. This is not the time to be showing detailed PowerPoint presentations. It's also not the time to be showing a lot of code snippets that might be meaningless to the audience that is in attendance. And then lastly, tip number 4, make sure that your sprint review is set up for feedback. A pet peeve of mine is when people refer to the sprint review as the sprint demo. It is so much more than a demo. A demo is obviously a very important part of the sprint review, but you're also discussing a lot of different factors. What went well for the team? What obstacles did they run into? Those stakeholders might be able to remove those obstacles. What's going on in the market? What changes do we need to make to the product backlog? What's happening in the competitive space? Do we need to modify things? Can we release things earlier? Do we need to release things later? There's a lot of different conversation that needs to happen around that product and where things are headed. So it's much more than just a demonstration. So hopefully, if you take these 4 tips into account, you'll be able to make your sprint reviews that much more effective and valuable and enjoyable. Thanks for listening.